T-minus 16 hours, I think, here in Les Sables d'Olonne. The Vendee Globe is about to start. I couldn't even walk through the crowd at this point. Now it's getting beyond crazy, and it's almost distasteful. The smells and the crushing pressure of the crowd. But I finally hooked up with this guy. I've been trying to find him through the crowds. Chris McMaster from Doyle Sales New Zealand, the only guy that's here that's not Incidences North, and he's on a pretty hot boat on Hugo Boss. Chris, welcome to Sailing Anarchy.
Thanks, Alan. Great to be here.
It's great to finally meet you. We've been talking for a long time, huh?
Yeah, it's been a while. Shit, this is crazy here, isn't it? That's amazing.
This is your first Vendee.
Yeah, it's first time here. So
I guess I wonder how you make inroads to a class that has been so dominated by one sailmaker for a long time, and then North has come in recently. But how does Doyle how do you jump into a class like that and not make a fool of yourself?
Well, I think it goes back when we started 2 years ago with Alex, and we sort of got on really because we gave him a really good deal. We offered something that I guess other guys couldn't offer, and it was in-house product, completely turnkey with Richard as the designer. And I guess that's probably been the big attraction. Richard's had, numerous Volvo going back to Whitbread.
This is Richard Bouzade, Volvo, Whitbread. Yeah. He's designed everything.
Yeah.
August 24 sails.
Yeah, anything that goes, really, anything that sails. So, Richard probably is the major part of the deal, I guess. And I guess Richard gets out there and goes training with Alex, So, he just spent 5 days on the water with him, in all sorts of conditions. The photos of the boat completely under the water. Richard's on board as well. So a lot of the deal is the coaching from Richard and help out with the sail design.
So without Richard, this deal doesn't happen.
Oh no, I think it's a package. It's very much so. Moose obviously comes as a big part of the package as well now. So there's a lot of experience there, and just the engineering, how to put the whole package together, keeping really doing something that delivers on a boat like this when we have, like you said, we haven't had much experience.
Then again, you've just done the Volvo, and obviously there's got to be a ton of experience. Not the same boats, but similarly powered up. And similar conditions they have to face, right?
Oh, almost identical. Probably. The big difference with the Volvo is that the guys could stop each time, do repairs, and then carry on again, which I think probably. Obviously Moose didn't make it through some of the legs, but in overall terms, the sails actually performed really well. So he was probably one of the few boats that didn't have major sail repair at each port.
And that's the Stratus sail. Is there some? Honestly, I'm not super technical when it comes to sails, but is there something about Stratus that's that is giving them a little bit more longevity than the other sails, or is it just the way you built the specific sails?
No, I think the Stratus membrane is it's something we've put a lot of time into. It's been 7 years now. We've put a lot of effort into making them more durable, and that's lamination, engineering, glue technology. That's really the difference, And the North product, as much as it's, I guess it's probably the industry standard from a top race performance point of view. I think our sails actually outperform in terms of longevity. And the lamination, which means they just hold together. You can put more into them.
Well, we all remember North had big problems with this race last time, where the water that was collecting in the mainsails was delaminating the sails. What causes something like that, and how do you prevent sort of the unforeseen problems from popping up in your own product?
Yeah, we've put a lot of time into it, and I think probably one of the test beds down in Auckland is it's a great area for trialling this sort of stuff. So it's just the lamination really comes down to the weight we've got on the machines, the technology behind them. It's a fully automated process. You have to come and see it to understand, really. It's a pretty impressive plant when you walk in.
And is that in Auckland?
Yeah, all under one roof in Auckland. I think most people walk in and they can't believe that there's that sort of technology outside North. And that's as soon as we've got a customer in there, we've got a 99% chance of getting them. It's fantastic.
That's not a bad ratio.
Yeah. Well, a lot of it comes from the super yacht stuff. We've been doing.
But you guys have really been taking over. Over the last half a decade, right?
Yeah. It's a massive change. You go to St. Bart's 4 years ago. I think probably 10% of the boats had our sails. Going back this year, there's probably 50 to 60% have got our sails. There's a reason for that.
It has to be popular with the sailmakers too, because they get nicer trips than the usual, go sail J24s for the weekend and help out the customer.
It's pretty hard work on those super yachts, I tell you.
Let's go back to the tech a little bit behind the sails. I wonder what's the difference, the main difference in shape that you'd see from a Volvo to these boats. Obviously, you lack some of the riding moment. You've got only one person to deal with them. They have slightly. I mean, they do have different polars. They're slower upwind. But what is the general difference across the board between the shapes of the sails from a Volvo to this boat?
I guess one of the things, the Volvo sails tend to be a bit more upwind shape. These have to be a bit more all-purpose. I mean, these guys, like you said, they don't go on the wind like in a Volvo boat. So the sail shapes and the headsails are quite different. And also you're trying to make a sail that really does go through a range. I mean, it's got to be easy to trim as opposed to top performance all the time. I mean, if the thing's going to have a really straight exit, it's going to flutter in the back, the guys just aren't going to be able to keep it going together around the world. So a Volvo sail, very, very different background, but you're trying to look for the same result at the end.
Sacrifice a little bit of top-end performance for ease of trimming and ease of use.
Yeah, certainly. And I mean, the fibres that go into it, I mean, the Volvo sails were full Tuaron, so that it was maximum shape holding. Whereas here we've got a mix of Technora, which is really, really durable as far as the fibre goes. A little bit of carbon, very low carbon performance. But yeah, just longevity. I mean, these guys have to be able to, rag the shit out of the sails really, and still come back for more.
One of the things you notice, obviously different from even the Volvo 70, which was a development rule, is that amongst these boats, they're all over the shop. I mean, the rigs, even the deck spreader rigs from one to the next, all over the shop. They bend differently, they look different, they trim different. Then you have the more conventional rigs, different sheeting points. I mean, but what about the shapes? I mean, when you look at a couple of Incidence boats and you look at a couple of North boats, are they pretty standardized amongst the sailmaker, or are they all over the shop too?
There's everything and anything. I mean, it's interesting. We've had some of the Incidence sails through work. We've had a good look at everyone's sails really, gone right back through the North sails, and yeah, I think Richard's probably done a more complete race package than most of the boats. He's put a lot of time into the different crossovers. We've done a lot of engineering studies. I think probably a lot more than most people. Norths have obviously gone through experience of just numbers, and it's probably evolved over the years, whereas we had to come in really at a base level and understand it very quickly. So, it's been a pretty steep learning curve in 2 years. And I believe Alex has got a set of sails that equals anything out there.
Really?
Yeah. So, but time will tell.
Bold statement. He's also got a boat that's awfully fast. That's won a lot of races. That was that was worked over and made beautiful by Bilou. And I mean, it's a pretty special boat. I've sailed on her. She's amazing. Yeah, no, it's a cool boat. I mean, obviously it's a little bit older technology than some of the boats out there, but I think it's going to come down to, durability and race preparation. Really, it's going to be interesting. Yeah. Have you followed just online or whatever? Have you followed past Vendees much?
No, not a lot. I mean, down
not a big Kiwi thing.
No. I mean, that's the problem, and I think it will do. I mean, a lot of what you're doing is going to get it across to a lot more of the world for sure, and it's going to open up a lot of interest. I think there'll be a lot more interest as it comes through the bottom of New Zealand this time than there has been.
I don't know any Kiwi sailors that don't read Sailing Anarchy. So.
Yeah, no. I think it's pretty popular at home for sure.
I know that. Obviously, I say a lot of one design, and I know I see Doyle popping up more and more in the States. I don't know how it's going worldwide, but are you guys making a push into that, or is that just a market that depends on who the local sailmaker is, and that's how it works?
No, I mean, I think probably our product was evolved around super yachts for sure. We made a big push into that market. We could see that evolving, going back 12 years ago, and that's where Richard and I headed the business. I guess probably just as a result of the product we're doing, it started to grow in racing boats. And to be fair, I mean, a lot of the growth into racing boats wasn't really planned. It just started to happen because people are asking for the product. So. Yeah, no, it's growing pretty quick. I mean, a big part of getting Moose on board was obviously to grow into that market, and that's why we did it. So the Moose thing, I mean, that's certainly changed the direction of the business. Richard and I could get it to a certain point, but we needed someone with his credibility to really start doing it.
I mean, and he's got as much as anybody in the world, But what about him? I mean, what are we going to see Moose up to? Obviously, he's done this. What are we going to see him up to next?
I don't know. He keeps it pretty close to his chest. So
when are we going to hear an announcement about the Volvo from you guys?
Well, yeah, I guess I mean, the Volvo thing's interesting. I don't know which way it's going to go. Moose is probably pretty undecided, whether he's doing it or what he's doing. I don't know. He's kept it.
He told me on the docks in Miami that all he wanted to do was one design, that it was what he wanted, and now it's one design. So come on, what's the holdup?
You'll have to ask him that.
All right, well, look, I want to tell everyone that Doyle has been supporting Sailing Anarchy for a long time. Only by dealing with guys like this can we bring you this kind of coverage. So check him out at doyle.co.nz or just check out your local Doyle dealer. We love these guys, and at least I've sailed on downwind Doyles in the Melgus 24, and they were brilliant back then. I'm sure they're brilliant now. And there's some great guys that are giving you your service and stuff. Brad Boston, we'll give a little shout out to those guys. They're great friends. So.
No, that's great, Alan. Thanks very much. Really appreciate it.
No, thanks for being here. And we will do we are going to do some kind of Skype chat with Richard Bouzade about these designs. Maybe we'll see how Alex goes around Cape of Good Hope, and then we'll check in with Richard and talk about the sales. Can you are you allowed to run down the 10 sales that Alex is bringing right now?
That Alex is bringing? No, I thought I'll leave that to Alex.
It's okay, we already have a photo actually of the chart inside the boat. Anarchy already has
All right. Well, anyway, thanks again for your support, and enjoy the start.
Awesome. Thanks.
All right. Cheers.
All right.